You know, you're working at your table, kind of pay attention to what's going on camera so I can show you how this goes together. It's not really hard, but you'll want to be paying attention to certain things. I've got my base here. I'm going to go ahead and egg wash part of it. That acts like a glue. And just like any glue that you use glue with wood, you use glue with anything, you don't want too much. Because if you do have too much, it'll ooze out the sides, it'll make a mess. So I'm just going to dampen the surface here on this edge where I'm going to be placing my strip that's on the side. Same thing with this edge. I'm not looking to put sloppy, drippy egg wash. I'm just looking to dampen really well so that it will stick. It's nice and chilled, so I'm just going to go ahead and place the strip right here along the edge. And this other strip right here along the edge, nice and neat. And I'm going to go ahead and egg wash the tops of each one of those strips. Now, to make sure these strips really puff nicely, I'm really being careful not to let any egg wash drip over the sides. If it drips over the sides, it really will not puff there. That glue will keep it from, the egg wash glue will keep it from puffing. So not hard, but just a little attention to detail makes a huge difference in the final appearance of your apple tart. Now right here in the middle is where we're going to put an apple. And I'm going to probably use two of them. I'm just going to quickly cut up an apple. I love these apples. These apples come out of Michigan. They're not Washington apples. So they were less expensive because they don't have to come as far. But also, they're really random in size. They have a good flavor. They came out of a good cold state like Michigan. I think the Michigan apples may even be better than the Washington apples. That's probably a debatable subject among people who know their apples, but these are supposed to be, at least according to the specs that I have, they're supposed to be red delicious, but they look an awful lot like a Jonathan. So I'm a big fan of good tasting apples. And for this tart, it's really important to have a good apple. Alright, so I'm going fairly thin slices on this, and the reason why, of course, is because I want them all to cook or bake at the same rate. I want them all to come out to be of the same texture and look the same. So if I am consistent in my cuts, I'll get that. Let's go ahead and cut this up. I'm also going to try to keep them consistent in size, not just thickness, but size, so that they look nice. Alright, when I go to place them on my tart, I'm going to go ahead and just sort of discard the ones that are not the right size. I'm going to fan these in. I want to make sure they actually fit in the channel. So if they're too big to fit in your channel between your strips, all you have to do is cut off an edge just to kind of turn them up a little bit. If you had a really small apple and you're wondering, well, what do I do if they're really small? If I get really small pieces. You could conceivably do two rows, or sort of interlock them, intersperse them. So one goes all the way to the left, one goes all the way to the right, the other one goes all the way to the left. And by doing that, you'll create something of a pattern that will still get full coverage in your apple tart. People like to see that you care about how much you put in the product, so if it looks like you've been skimping, then people will think you're being cheap and that you're just trying to make money on them, and they won't be happy about that. So they'd rather see you put a lot of apple in here. Alright, so I'm filling this up, and then as soon as it's filled, I'll go ahead and put a little sugar on top of this apple and set it in the oven. This will go ahead and bake until it's nice and puffed and the puff pastry looks brown all the way around. Puff pastry is done when it's brown on the bottom and it's also brown on the sides, a little bit brown on the sides. If it's still blonde on the sides, or if you see any evidence that that's kind of translucent, means it looks kind of watery, then it's not done yet. That means that's butter you're seeing that's still liquid. You want to see that evaporate off some more moisture and bake a little bit longer.